Hi everyone, it's Michelle from MEW Designs, here with a video about some leather paint that I found in Bunnings. So Bunnings is the big box hardware store here in Australia. They had a few different colours. I picked the metallics and I thought it would be super fun to do a video opening it up, having a look at it and comparing it to some of the other more expensive leather paints that I've got in my collection. So let's get opening. So the box was nicely sealed. They do have a picture on the outside showing the actual bottle size, and it does look a little bit larger. And inside there is a tray with the different colours. So that is their metallic silver, and I do have the Angelus paint sterling silver, and immediately I can see a difference in just the pigment size. The Angelus paint, the pigments are a lot finer. It is a little bit chunkier in this Boyle brand. The brown looks like a great colour. There's two titanium white, which I think will be really, really handy as base coats. You can put the white down first on a dark colour and then put your colour over the top. And then a black. Now in the Angelus paints, there's a matte black and a more glossy black. It'll be interesting to see how that one looks when painted. And then that's the second titanium white. So I'll start with the silver. The bottles are sealed in plastic, which I have no fingernails, which makes it tricky. I do like that the top's sealed. And on opening it up, like Angelus, there's a brush. It does look like it's a lovely bit of thick cover. So that's the Angelus, also with the brush. So I've got some leather pieces here. This is the crust hide from Packer Leather, and they sell this as one that's excellent for dyeing and painting. So I'm just going to use the brush, lay it on thick. Angelus and Boyle, or even A and B samples, and they look very similar when applied. Both have a good amount of coverage. So I will try the gold next. Oh, actually, let's do the brown. See how much pigment the brown has. Because we're going for quite a light leather. This one's a little sticky at the top. So it has quite a good thick coverage on it, and it seems really easy to work. This one just needs to be cleaned up at the top. And it looks like the brush has had a bit of an accident in there. It looks like it's a nice finish and it is soaking in well. And I'm quite impressed. So the next step will be to put a few more samples on, and then I'm going to let them dry and then just see how well they've adhered and do a little bit more of a comparison between the two different paints. So the paint's now dried. I did some additional samples of the two blacks from Angelus just for comparison, and I've added a pink that's actually edge paint, and then the rose gold is the Angelus. I don't have a metallic gold. Rose gold is the closest that I have. So we've got the two different silver samples. Put the rose gold and the gold, and then the white, the black, the brown are all the Boyle brand. And then just out of interest, the two different blacks that you can get from Angelus. It might be a little bit hard to see on camera, but one definitely, the matte definitely doesn't have that same sort of sparkle. So they've dried in a very similar sort of way between the two silvers. There's a little bit of stretch in this leather, and it's not really cracking or getting damaged. Obviously, if you're doing something that you want to last, the next step would be a finishing coat to seal that all in. But I thought it would be fun to get a little bit of sandpaper and see just how well all the paint samples are adhered and what happens with a bit of abrasion, because if you were just to put this paint straight on and not seal it, and it rubs against things, that's where you sort of risk losing that finish. So I'll start on the metallic. And it's holding up quite well. Both have definitely lost some of their surface, but I think it's about a similar amount. If I do in the center, so I can see the gold has definitely lifted up more than the others. The white has come up a bit. It's taken the gloss off the black and the brown, but the black and the brown have held their pigment really well. I'll compare the rose gold and the gold, and they're super similar. So that's the rose gold in the Angelus and the gold in the Boyle. Quite sort of similar wear on there, which is quite impressive. And then I'll try that little bit of edge paint. So it's just peeling straight off. And I suspect that's because I haven't put a base coat underneath. We definitely don't have peeling like that. But it is holding up really, really well. And I would say is very, very similar to the Angelus paint, which is excellent because being in a big box hardware store, it's a lot easier to find than the specialty paint. And it also gives you some other options to mix and match in. You can use these paints together, you can mix them together to get new colours and new finishes. And I absolutely would recommend, if you're wanting to get into painting on leather and looking for a cost-effective way, that these paints are excellent. That's my little demonstration of the Boyle leather paints that I got from Bunnings. I will link down below a link to Bunnings so you can find them yourself if you are based in Australia. If you found my video at all informative, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like more from me, hit that subscribe, hit the bell so you get updates when I upload new videos. I'm trying to do a range of content that is about sewing in general, sewing with leather, and then also some tips and tricks on the PDF patterns that I make so you can sew your own bags at home. So I'm Michelle from MEW Designs. Thanks for joining me.